Welcome, friends, to my space. I'm your host, Sherry Pluskota. I'm happy you're joining me live or will be listening to this recording at a future time. I appreciate you and thank you. At this at this moment in time, we're just going to wait for folks to join us, and I'm going to take care of some house cleaning things. First, thanks to my sponsor, Elevator Results. If you need a tailor made workout plan to help you lose weight or gain weight, Elevator Results can design that plan. Follow them on Twitter and check out their site at elevatorresultspt.com. Please be reminded that you can find the recordings of my past spaces, including our daily WSOP coverage and all the interviews at my YouTube channel at Sherry Pluskota 9212. This evening, I have a special guest with me, and I'm so excited because I just feel like her enthusiasm is always contagious. My guest is a poker um, power coach, and she is the first female to win a WSOP circuit ring. Lisa Pickell has one WSOP ring, but she has 16 caches. She has 6 WSOP caches, 9 circuit caches, and 1 international circuit cache. Lisa has over 404,000 in total live earnings listed on Hendon Mob, with a best life cache of over 47,000 for her first place finish in the WSOP circuit event, which was a $525 no limit tournament in Atlantic City, where she got her ring. So, welcome, Lisa. How are you?
I am well. Thank you so much, Sherry, for having me here. I am super excited to talk with you.
Well,
So,
I'm
you
glad you
make
could
me
join.
sound important. I like that.
Oh, well, you
Thanks.
are important. You are important. Now, I know that we are popping your spaces cherry today, so I'm going to give you a little tour around spaces to get you acquainted with what's going on here. So, of course, down in the bottom left is your microphone button. You can turn it on and off there. Next to that is a little like fairy wand, which is sound effects that you can have fun with. And we try, because we're doing an interview, to try to be somewhat serious, so we don't use sound effects very often. But we do go off the rails from time to time. Next to that is an icon with 2 little people. And that's just going to show you who's in the space, what they're listed as speakers, listeners, if I want to remove somebody from the space, if I need to bring them back in, because sometimes we get trolls that we kick and they beg to come back in and behave themselves. So that's what is going on there. Next to that is a heart plus button. And that's where your little emoji panel is. That you'll see from time to time. Folks in here will send up some emojis. Next to that is a little pair of scissors where you could clip some audio for a later date. Next to that is a little talk bubble, and that's the chat for the space. If people sometimes our listeners don't want to come up and talk, but they want to pose a question for you or make a comment, so they'll put it there. And when they do, I can actually transfer it so it'll go to the top of the space, so we can just scroll down and look at what we call the Jumbotron. We just kind of post it at the top. Here in the Spaces world, we call that the Jumbotron. Now, I think I lost her. Let's see. I'm going to wait and carry on that description of the space as soon as she gets back in here. I bet you she tried to click on the things in the top right corner to explore and kicked herself out. I'm going to say that's my guess. We'll give her a minute to get back in here. There she is.
Here I am. I went to click the little chat box and it brought me to another page. And let me just tell you,
It's
I
okay.
am definitely your least tech savvy
It's
person.
okay.
So I shouldn't touch anything. So if anyone is saying something to me and there's a box and I'm supposed to know, please just yell at it because
Okay. I'm
I'm
going
afraid to
to
touch my phone now.
Yeah, I'm
The
going to
only
tell
thing
you
I will
something.
say, go
You
ahead.
don't have to do anything but your mic button on and off.
I'm
And
not typing again.
honestly, it's going to be in the bottom left corner. And you can leave it on the whole time unless something just gets too loud and we just all need to mute or something crazy is happening. And we just need to get the sound to get back into check with Twitter because sometimes there's just audio issues. So no
Okie
worries. I'll do all the clicking. You do all the talking. How about that?
Talking, I'm good at, that's for sure. My teacher said Lisa talks too much in class, so I have
Well,
no problem talking.
and this is the place we like to talk in spaces. That's why it's become so popular because we can sit around and chat in real time about time topics, which I think is probably the biggest attraction for me anyway in Twitter spaces, especially in the poker world because it's always evolving. There's always something going on in the world, in the poker world, right? Around the globe. So, I think it's a unique situation and I love it. Now, down at the bottom, we don't have any right now, but the folks in the audience is what we like to call the goo. Those are people that are hanging around listening to us. We love them, appreciate them for being here listening.
Yay.
Yay, and hopefully some of them will request a microphone button at some point to ask questions or make some comments. Now, we don't have any right now at the bottom of the screen, but you can come into a space and listen as an anonymous listener. So you can come
Ooh.
in and listen to us, but we don't know who you are. And people like Jen Tilley and Phil Locke love to be in our anonymous listeners section. So you just never know. Sometimes I'll go into a space late at night. I need to doze off and can't. So I'll go into a space as an anonymous listener and just listen in hopes that I get lulled to sleep by maybe Barry's little sexy voice there. But anyway, we're going to
Love
keep
it.
on moving. And I appreciate everybody that's in here this evening. And I'm going to start out with some softball questions. How'd you get started in poker, Lisa?
Oh my. Jersey girl growing up at the shore, played with my cousins, used to play wild card games, Follow the Queen and Midnight Baseball. And then I got married and we had a pool league at our house. And while you were waiting for your pool, your team to go up, we would play stand up poker. And one of my friends came over one day and was like, "Oh, we got to try out this game. It's called Hold'em." And I was like, "This is the dumbest thing ever." And, that was the year the NHL went on strike and ESPN didn't have anything else to put on but the WSOP. And Moneymaker changed my life and so many of ours who are in this sport. And I started going down to Atlantic City. My mom was a slot player, and I would go down and I would play. I cocktail served at Harrah's, and I would take half my money and go across the street to Trump Marina in this little poker room with men who were as old as probably old as I am now. And we
So
played five
not that
card
old.
draw.
They
Oh
just
my
seemed
God, I'm
old.
100, right? Um, but we played five-card draw and seven-card stud. That's all you could play. And then all of a sudden the boom hit and people were putting in poker rooms left and right. And I started playing Hold'em and played my very first tournament. And that was that World Series of Poker circuit ring, and I had to play a satellite to get into it.
Oh my God, what a great story. So you satellite into this $525 no limit tournament,
Yep.
and then you just decide to go ahead and win it, eh?
Well, the funniest thing is I got heads up with this mean man who said, "I'll just give you your money back." And I didn't know you could make deals or anything. And
Right.
I looked at him and I said, "Well, I can't play the tournament unless I win my seat." And he had all the chips in the world. And this is like one of those key tilt moments. He
Right.
just tilted off. I wound up going on a heater and won my seat.
I
And
love it.
it was truly the next morning. I was walking my daughter to the bus stop and I said, "Mommy won the seat. I don't know if I should play the ladies event or, the one with everybody and has lots of people." And she looked up at me and she said, "Well, why wouldn't you want to beat everybody?" And I said, "You know what? You're absolutely right." And I remember shaking, handing over that $500 for the tournament.
Right.
Um, but it was at Showboat, and it was one of those things where you're going with your gut. You don't know the game. I had no idea what I was doing. Guys were yelling at me that I caught a gut shot. I was like, what the hell is a gut shot? And, I didn't know. And then he's yelling at somebody else, yelling at me that I called all the way down with a rag ace, all the things that we all do now, saying, oh my God, I can't believe that. And it's like, you know what? When you don't know any better, that's what you
Right.
do.
You're fearless.
And for sure. And so at the end of the night, we wound up bagging. I didn't know that there was like a 2-day thing. And I was really superstitious. So I drove all the way home and I washed my entire outfit. I wore the same thing. I ate the same thing for breakfast. I didn't tell anybody that I was going back. Like no one knew. Um, and then blah, blah, blah. Fast forward to final table. And it was just my destiny. I literally
I
knocked
love it.
every single person out at the table except one. And then Todd Messler, who now he and I are friends, he came up to me and he's like, hey, you want to make a deal? We'll lock up something and play for something. And it was all like foreign to me. I was like, lock up what? And I was like, no, I just want to play. And again, there's a big difference between 49K and like
Yes,
20 or
girl.
30 something. I had no idea. I was like, nah, I'll just play. And again, like it was just my destiny.
I
And
love that. I love
it
it so
there was
much.
like a rail and people were asking me for my autograph and taking pictures. And then Charlotte Lehman, she was writing for, God, I don't remember. I don't think it was called Poker News back then, but she was writing. She's
May
like, "Oh
have
my
been.
God, you just became the first woman to win the World Series of Poker circuit ring in No Limit Hold'em." I was like, "What?" Had no idea. And yeah, it was just unbelievable.
All the
Super
stars and the moon
excited.
aligned, didn't it?
Absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely. I wish social media was back then what it is now. Maybe
Of
maybe things
course.
would be different.
Of course. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure my audience members are dying to know this as well. So, do you, when you bag for day two nowadays, do you go home and wash your outfit and wear it the next day or for day two, or do you change now?
Maybe I should go back to that because, it's been a while since I've won anything. So,
Oh, we may be
yeah,
onto
maybe I
something
should go
here.
back. Maybe being superstitious. Oh, I was a nutbag. Like I wouldn't let people touch my chips. I had the cocktail server put my Diet Coke in the same spot. Like I was crazy. Um,
Okay, I'm
but
just going to let you in on a secret. I may not have been that crazy, but once upon a time in another life, I was a baseball coach, and we used to go pregame at Taco Bell. I have 3 kids, so we would pregame at Taco Bell, and I don't know how many weeks into the season that was our ritual, right? Because we were on a winning streak, we were undefeated,
mm,
and so the manager of Taco Bell, I don't know if my kids were saying something about it or if he had just noticed us there again, right? And we were all in our baseball uniforms and he's like, he asked us or heard us talking about it being our pregame ritual. Well, he
mm.
came up to us and said, "Look, I will treat your family to dinner every time before a game as part of your pregame ritual." So we
Ah,
were like bound and determined to go to Taco Bell before every game. It was
I
hilarious.
love that.
And I
I
will
love that.
say we were undefeated 17-0 and won the championship that year. So
Nice. Listen, it works for sports people all the time. You've got baseball players who don't wash their socks, and you've got basketball players who have a ritual and who have a certain lucky outfit,
I
lucky
believe.
something, lucky underwear, like whatever.
I believe,
Um,
Lisa. I
yeah,
believe
for
for
sure.
sure.
Well, plus I think it's also about mindset, It's about putting you in a space where you're like, I've got this. And if that means putting, that lucky shirt on or putting your coffee in a certain way, whatever. Whatever it takes. That's my motto.
100%. Absolutely. Whatever
But I
keeps
do
you in
want
a
to say
good
thank you to
positive.
everybody that's here because I didn't get a chance to say that. So, hello, everybody, and thanks for being here.
Absolutely. We appreciate everybody listening and those that'll listen to this in the future. I appreciate you as well. All right. Now let's talk about Poker Power.
Mm.
Tell our audience a little bit about the mission of Poker Power, please.
So, let me just start by saying I absolutely love the game of poker. I think this is a phenomenal game. It has enriched my life tremendously. My job at Poker Power is 10 gajillion times more how much I love that. Being able to use poker and teach women in corporate world, young girls coming up in high school and middle school and college, the skills of this game that's going to change the trajectory of their life is mind blowing to me. We literally teach a program that helps them develop these skills that they can use in their business life and their personal life. Think about young boys and young girls. They young boys have a leg up just out of natural competitiveness that they are taught early on. Boys are playing poker and strategic games at 13 and 14 and 15. So when they go for a high school interview, a college interview, they already have the confidence that we inherit by playing poker, right? We're bluffing, we're betting, we're raising. That's confidence. And being able to teach someone those skills, and now all of a sudden they walk into an interview and they have the confidence to say, no, no, I'm the person you want to hire. This is why I'm good.
Now, I'm going to
Um,
stop you for a minute
yeah,
because one of the reasons that and I don't want people to take this the wrong way because I have talked to people about this and they know where I'm coming from with this. I don't believe in teaching children how to gamble.
we
So I
don't teach
think, wait a minute,
anything
just
to
hear
do
me
with
out.
money or
Just
gambling.
hear
Yep,
me out for a minute.
go ahead.
And so personally, I'm not about teaching kids how to play poker. Personally, I am about teaching kids card games that maybe when they get a little bit older at 18, 19 years old, then I would approach them as let's try playing a game for money or poker or some other game for money, whatever it is. It doesn't just have to be poker. So and people have heard me talk about this before. So that's why I'm bringing it up again, that people know I just don't support teaching kids how to play poker. That's not who I am. But I also know that it is very important because I grew up in a household and we played canasta and we played spades and we played pinochle. Now, we never were allowed to play anything for money. I never played a card game for money until I was in my late 40s when I learned how to play poker. So, believe me, I know the value of teaching these life skills through card games. And I really just am bringing that up because people that know me in these spaces know that I've talked about that before and know where I stand. So I don't want you to not be in on that, so to speak. So tell
Yeah.
us what that looks like. What do you do to teach the young folks and those in corporate America about poker?
So I'm happy you brought that up because this is something that gets brought up to us often. We have been doing work with the Girl Scouts, and I did a program here in New Jersey, which is called Homeworks. And this is young girls live on the college campus. I think it's Ryder, and they're mentored throughout. Throughout the state of New Jersey. They go to different programs because they are in areas that don't give them these skills. And so we've been fortunate to work with companies like this, projects like this. We do a global give back program. We taught over, God, I think it's over 50,000 girls in Kenya. And it's about being able to speak up for yourself. It's about decision making. We, first of all, at Poker Power, we never deal with money, even in our corporate games. In private games, in any, not private games, but private events, private corporate events, we don't allow any money. And when we are teaching, whether it's virtually or live, we don't even say a denomination. I mean, we don't say a value. It's like you have one chip and two chips. It's not 25/50. It's one chip and two chip. They don't even have a number on our chips. Ours are all branded because we don't want to cross over into that space of money. Now, being comfortable with money is something that Jenny Just, our founder, is very adamant about wanting to teach young girls and older women that are just not comfortable handling money, talking about money, investing their money,
Or
and
know the
that's their
power in their
future.
own money, right?
Exactly. So whether it's asking for your that raise, knowing your value when you go in to negotiate your salary, to negotiate your bonus, your contract, any of those things, you have to be comfortable with saying, yes, I'm worth this much, or this much money is needed in a particular project. So we talk about those skills. We talk about being the button. And when you're the button, you have the power. And if people are willing to limp in and give you information, then you should be taking advantage of that. If somebody is limping at the table, they're limping in life. And I say, you are giving away information all day, every day. And it is, again, when you see these aha moments of CEOs and founders and funders, and it's like, oh my gosh, I thought I was this really great partner and I'm giving away too much information, or I'm not sitting back. We just did a Big Brother, Big Sister event, and one of the gentlemen said, I go into meetings and I just lay it out like, this is the way we're going to go after this project or this deal or whatever. Instead, after sitting with us, he realized he could sit back and be the button and listen to the team, listen to all the other information coming at him, and reevaluate the situation and make better decisions. And that's just a little bit of what we touch on at Poker Power. Um,
So
so hopefully that answered a little bit.
if somebody wanted you to hire you to come teach at their corporate office, what would they have to do, Lisa?
So they would either, I mean, they could email me, and then I would get them in touch with our business op people, our business development people, and then it's about our calendar and trying to fit them in. We have instructors all over the country. Depends on how big of an event you're doing. Sometimes the sweet spot's about 30. Like we just did major players in the retail space in New York City last week, and it was about 30 women, and that's really a good spot. You've got 3 teaching tables. So what happens in one of our corporate events is I do about a 20-minute presentation. We talk about how poker is played. I tie it into, some of the corporate lessons or some of the strategies that we're trying to showcase that day. And then we do an hour of gameplay. And during that gameplay, we will point out these different strategies. So, like for instance, if it folds around and I have somebody that's in the cutoff or the button, I don't even let them look at their cards, and I'm like, raise. And it's so funny because here are these major players, they're playing with fake chips, and I'm telling them what to do, and they're like, oh my gosh, what? And they get so nervous, and you're like, see, this is what, when you're uncomfortable or you don't know all of the information, you're not being at your best. So we get them comfortable with taking bigger risks, pushing the envelope a little bit. So,
Love that.
so that's what you would do. You would have, and then we would figure out what you need and when it is, and
Love
then we
that.
would book you. Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
I honestly love it. I truly, truly do. And
I
I'm
think it's
happy
a
we're getting the
perfect
attention.
fit for you, Lisa. Honestly, I really
Thank
think like
you.
it's a calling for you. I think it's just a perfect fit for your personality, your passion for the game, your willingness to unselfishly give back to the game. It's just really a perfect fit in my eyes.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
absolutely. Okay.
Thank you. I
Be-
appreciate that.
you're welcome. Because I think we can learn from each other, I think you can provide some valuable information to anyone thinking about moving to Vegas to become a professional poker player. Can you
Hmm.
describe the reality of being a professional poker player in Vegas that maybe other people may not be aware of?
Yeah. So I think there are 2 things that being a pro, whether you're living in Vegas or traveling on the road, because I have done both. And both of them, poker can be a very lonely world depending on what your situation is. But even when you have a partner, if your partner, spouse, whatever, isn't a poker player, it's very difficult when you go to work every day and there are days where you don't make any money. When
Right.
you work in corporate world, you get a paycheck. When you are in Vegas, in Atlantic City, wherever, grinding, you can go to work and lose money, just like being a startup. You could start a company and you might lose money. You might not make the right decisions. So I think the most important thing about being a poker pro, especially in Vegas, is there are a lot of grinders. There are a lot of pros that are in town or live there on a consistent basis. So you don't have an edge where you might somewhere else in the country that doesn't have as many poker players. The upside of it is there are a lot of pros. There are a lot of people that understand your lifestyle.
Right on.
And when you can find your tribe, your people that will support and encourage you, then you can knock it out of the park. I think finding good study partners, finding people that will keep you healthy and balanced is also important. The thing about Vegas is there are a gajillion poker rooms. So you can hop from poker room to poker room to poker room. And that's not healthy. You have to get out in the sunshine and you've got to, whether you exercise, believe me, I'm not a healthy person, but you've got to exercise. You've got to get out. You have to go and socialize. You can't just live at the poker table. Um, and there are people that do. I mean, the best of the best eat and breathe this game. And I know some of them, and literally they study together, they play, they talk, and it's in their blood. And that is not easy for everyone to do. So if you are
And
a
it's
normal
not, I don't
person,
think that is sustainable either, right? You may be able to do that for 6 months or even a year, but you really have to have a well balanced life. Like you said, get out and touch the grass, go for a walk, a hike, go bowling. You have to have
yeah,
some other things in your life that you can
yes.
shut that poker off for a while. And then,
Hmm.
as well as put away the what I call like the last game demons, that you remember that last hand that you lost your stack on, it's coming to you to that next game and it's impeding your next game in the process. So, taking that hike, all of a sudden you forget all about that hand and losing that stack, right?
Yes.
Um,
And I think that's why your tribe is important. Your friends, your circle is important because you do need somebody that's going to listen. Not for nothing, sometimes you do have to tell the bad beat story. It sucks, and we've all been there. We've all had our aces cracked, but sometimes you need to run it to find out, well, how could I have done this different? It's not about just complaining. It's about, was there something I can learn from this spot? Can you run it with your friend, your spouse, or whoever? And they can say, oh, maybe your sizing was a little off. And just right there can be like, yep, you know what? That works. Um, so I do think that's a blessing when you can find it. I think it's very difficult to find partners. Lord knows I it's been hard for me. I hate being single. And it's tough to find a poker player, or if they're not a poker player, someone that can understand the game and appreciate what you're going through during those highs and lows.
Absolutely. And non judgmental if they're not in the world of poker. Um, right? Okay.
Right.
Do you set poker goals for yourself?
I did a while.
Uh-oh, your mic is off, honey. So if you're talking, we cannot hear you.
Sorry,
That's
my
okay.
nope, sorry, my earbud fell out. So I used to set goals a while back, when I was playing more consistently, more on a full-time basis. But because I've really been very focused on poker power and trying to do some other things, possibly podcast shows, like just different projects, I don't get to really focus on my game as much. I did just get in with a study group of women from my poker power team. So that's been exciting. We're very few weeks into it. Um, and I love that.
Awesome.
But my biggest goal, I mean, every woman wants to be the first woman to win the main event, but
Right.
I still am shooting for that first six-figure win. I do not have a six-figure win under my belt, and damn, I want one. I
I
want
feel the
one
same
bad.
way about a five-figure five-figure bink. So
Mhm.
then my six-figure bink will be next, right?
There you go. Exactly.
um,
Maybe you'll just jump right over it.
hey, I wouldn't be mad. I'm just gonna tell you,
Exactly.
I wouldn't be
Heck
mad at
yeah.
that.
Nope. Nope.
Okay, so what are the most number of bullets you've fired into a tournament?
um. So I'm definitely not bankrolled the way a lot of players are. I'm gonna say, God, maybe I don't think I've ever done more than 5 bullets in anything. Um, yeah,
I,
probably 5 bullets, and it had to have been either like a Parks 300 big stacks, which, hello, anyone on the East Coast, big stacks just announced their schedule, is going to be starting up in February.
nice,
Parks always have the best structures, so very much looking forward to that.
nice.
Um, but I remember there was someone in there that they had 27 bullets, and someone actually made them a t-shirt with bullets and his face on them.
I love
Yep.
that. Well, the reason I bring it up often because I'm just curious at the replies I get, and they've been all over the gamut, believe me. But last week I was in Biloxi, and literally my hiney wasn't even in my seat 30 seconds. And the guy next to me recognized me, and he asked me for my opinion about Cody Stanford. In the Had rebought 35 times into the
Wow.
$400 tournament. And he was just doing, he would rebuy and he would just go in all in blind, all in
Oh
blind,
my
all in blind, all in
God.
blind, all in blind. And so,
Why?
yeah, I mean, like, I think we figured it out. We looked up the pay scale when it came, the payouts when it came out. I think he had to finish like in 13th or 14th place just to get his buy-ins back. And
Mm.
and it's so funny, but he did end up binking a tournament. I didn't go back to look if it was that tournament or the one after it, but he did end up binking a tournament in Biloxi last week. Um, but some people are saying, is he chip dumping? Some people, there's all kinds of
Ah.
yeah, there's all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff on 2+2. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of get your input on how
Well,
many.
I have a little, so I have one story. Again, parks. We have a friend of ours who he had fired so many bullets, he needed to finish seventh or better to break even.
It's
To break
crazy. Yeah,
even.
it's
And he wound up
crazy.
winning. He wound up winning. Again, Parks has a $300 event, no guarantee. They're not doing it now, but they never used to have a guarantee, and first prize was always over 100K.
Wow.
So in that tournament, yes, people went nuts. Plus,
Right.
it was multi-day. For me personally, even if I were bankrolled that big, would I? I don't know. I'm definitely of the mindset of, if I'm firing that many bullets in one day, now coming back different days, totally different. But if I'm firing multiple bullets, like 4 and 5 bullets in one day, I just gotta say it's not my day. There
Well,
are
and I
times where
agree
you're
with you.
just not running
And
well,
even in this
and
case,
that's okay.
in this case, it's no skills. He's just going all in blind,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And but I wonder if, is this going to become an argument? Because he also had a stable there. So
Mm,
who at that table is part of his stable? So there's so many different ways to look at it.
yeah.
And,
Yeah.
should it be allowed? Should we limit it to 5 rebuys? Should it be just,
Mm,
you know what I'm saying? Like what
yeah.
I think it's gonna, maybe not in the near future, but I think in the next 5 years that's going to become a discussion as more and more people start to try to buy their way to the final table.
Mm. Well, definitely a conversation that I feel the community needs to have a voice in, because
Absolutely.
how much, like, you never want to close off your prize pool.
Right.
They got rid of freeze outs for a reason, which I think sucks. Like, I love a freeze out. You play it totally different, but they're just not the way the community wants. People want bigger prize pools. People want to be buying in multiple times. So we have to give the community what they want. Now,
I
if cheating is
agree.
becoming an issue
Yeah,
and
I
people think
agree
there is
with
chip
you that
dumping,
we do want rebuys. I just don't
hmm
think it should be 35. I think that 5 is a good number, 6 even is a good number, maybe even 8, but I don't think the community really wants 35.
is he going back to the same seat though? Like, if he's going back to the same seat and he can be chip dumping to his team, then yeah, that's stupid. That's on the casino or the poker rooms shoulders. Like, they should be making sure he's not going back to the same table where he can dump
Well,
chips.
but if he has, how many are in his stable? He could have one person at 10 different tables.
I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Well,
But
I'm
yeah,
just
I mean,
telling you,
it's always
I'm
worth
just
a
going to say to the
conversation.
audience, go on 2 plus 2, and we're going to skip over the rest of that conversation.
I'll
Because
have
I'm
to
going to
check
tell you
that
that
out. I love me a debate.
some of the names that are mentioned, you know, I have been around and I just could not believe they would ever be
Ooh,
involved with something like that. And, you know,
mm,
before people throw out accusations, they better have damn proof. Uh,
exactly.
because these are reputations, these are guys that are crushing it. And if you're just
Mm,
some jealous, keyboard warrior with no proof, like shut the hell up. I mean, honestly, that's
wow.
where I'm at with that. We can't make
I love it. Sherry's all fired up.
Yeah, we just can't make blanket statements that,
No.
this is some type of cheating ring. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm off my soapbox. Well, off of that soapbox anyway. So,
All right.
can you share a time when you made a significant comeback during a game, other than that ring-winning tournament?
Heck yeah. Actually, the ring event, I don't think I ever got low. I hit my gut shots. I called with my raggies. No, it's actually my favorite story. Again, a parks event. I satellited in, and we are on the stone cold bubble. And I remember someone who had half of me say, trying to get bubble money. And
Right.
everybody was like, "Are you kidding me? She has like no chips." I'm in the big blind. Somebody gets moved to my table. I cannot remember if this is Matt Glantz that is in this hand or not. For some reason, I think it is. Anyway, guy raises, new guy to the table, re raises. I'm like, I'm getting out of this. I fold. The initial raiser shoves. They get it all in. Ace King versus Jacks. The guy gets knocked out. I go on a heater of a lifetime and bag 2.9 million in chips,
Oh
and
my God.
wind up getting knocked out fourth when somebody sucked out on me, all in, all in. But that is truly when I say, "Oh my God, I believe in the chip in the chair." Absolutely. And I also believe, and these are types of things that we teach at Poker Power, right? Why are you not paying attention to the fact that I have no chips? I'm going to be out in two hands.
Amen.
Why would you get involved in a hand when the
Amen,
guy's got
sister.
you covered? Yeah. Like, it just makes no
And
sense.
I don't know why
Um,
anybody would play jacks for their stacks, but that's a story for another day.
exactly. Exactly. But yes, that is my all-time favorite
I love
comeback
that.
kid story.
Good
Yep.
for you. I love it.
Thank
And I do
you.
believe in a chip and a chair. I once made it to a final table with 1,000 chip. And the chip leader at the table had 290K, and I took every last chip off of him.
Yes.
Yes, girl.
Woohoo.
Yes, girl. Won me
Absolutely.
15, I think it was 1,500 or $1,000. Anyway, um,
Love it.
I truly believe in a chip and a chair. Okay,
Yep.
I am going. Thanks, D man. Okay, I'm going to bring up something that's kind of in the headlines or in the news today in the poker world, because I think it's an important conversation. It's a very exciting time of year with the voting process for the GPI awards currently taking place, and there are so many talented people being nominated. However, I think there's a bit of a flaw in the system. And I was kind of hoping after last year some adjustments would be made. And honestly, I don't know if adjustments have been made or not, but this is still one adjustment that I feel does need to be made. And I think the only way to get it in front of the powers that be is if we talk about it and try to problem solve it. And I would love to pick your brain about it. So I just want to say, um, in my opinion, and my opinion is a dime a dozen, right? Um, and if you folks have seen some of the tweets that are referencing what I'm going to talk about and want to come up and chat about it, please do. However, do not bring up anybody's names or whose tweets we're talking about because it's not about those people. It's about a process that I think needs tweaking. So, again, we're not here to go after somebody or bring up somebody's name. We're talking about the process. So, right now, it seems that the people that are the voters in the GPI award system can nominate themselves for an award. I have no problem with that. They cannot vote for themselves, which I think is a good thing. Um, the problem for me is unless you're a voter, you do not know you've been nominated for an award. So those that are voters can nominate themselves and know that they've been nominated for an award because they see the ballots and they have to vote in the ballots, although they cannot vote for themselves. And so they've been on Twitter making tweets about, please vote for me. And the problem I have is if you're not a voter on that panel of voters, then you don't even know you've been nominated, so you can't beg for votes. So to me, that doesn't seem fair that they have an upper hand and they can reach out to people. And if they have a big following on social media, they could beg for votes. And the other person, their opponent, doesn't even know they're on the ballot. So, you have any thoughts about that, Lisa?
Wow. So let me preface this with I am one of the worst poker players when it comes to following a lot of social media and content creators. I know there's a bunch of really great ones. Um,
Absolutely.
and I'm not on a lot of I don't follow a lot of the news and I miss a bunch of it. So this is blowing my mind right now. I didn't even know this was a thing. So you're saying someone can get nominated and not even know they're nominated. So how can you possibly I mean, to me, right off the cuff, that seems very unfair. How can you campaign if it's a voting system? How can you campaign for votes if you don't know you're nominated? Yeah, that seems very unbalanced in my opinion.
It's
And
just
is
not a
there
good
any
look.
reasoning?
It's just not a good look, right?
Well, who are the powers that be? Like, I don't know who's in charge of these awards, but who is that governing body and what's their reasoning for saying, "Oh yeah, no, it's fair." Has it come up?
I don't know if in the past people have begged for votes on social media. I'm going to tell you that I don't remember that happening last year. It doesn't
Mm,
mean it didn't. I don't know about the years before that. But this year there have been 3 people, very big names in poker, that are begging for votes, not only for themselves but for other people. And
mhm,
honestly, it kind of reeks of nepotism and the good old boy system, because not everybody is on the same playing field. Not
right,
everybody knows that they've been nominated. And when you're a voter, you have to keep those ballots a secret of who's on those ballots. It's a multi level balloting system. So, like
mm,
they put in a first round of ballots, and then maybe they have 20 names under each category. I don't know. I'm just making this up.
right,
Maybe they have 20 names under each category. They go to a initial vote. That list of 20 now becomes 10.
mm,
Then they go to another vote. That list of 10 now becomes, I don't know, 5 or 6. And then they go for a final vote.
right.
That's loosely how the system is working. But the problem is, for me, it's just not a good look that you have people out there begging for votes for themselves, and even talking about um, what piece of their work they're going to submit for consideration. And then you have people that have been nominated that are clueless and are absolutely clueless that they've been
That
nominated or that they should be begging for votes. So I don't know, and I don't know how they're going to fix that.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think it's a little tough that there are these ballots and you think so and so didn't tell somebody and they didn't tell somebody. Like, there's no such thing that those are secret. So I think it's getting out anyway. And it's getting out to those people, like you said, they already know because they get to actually vote. So they know they voted for themselves. And if you're allowed to, if you win by, if you win because of your content or your submission or your things that you did over the year, um, then that's one thing. You're saying, here's what I stand on. This is what I did. This is what I accomplished. But if it's about vote getting, then that's unfair. Like there's definitely no one's able to campaign for themselves. So that definitely seems like an unfair advantage. And again, I don't know what the upside is
And I'm going
and
to
why they would say it's okay.
Right, and I'm gonna say, I can't imagine GPI saw this coming. Like, I can't imagine,
Mm,
and I truly believe the intent of the GPI voting process, and those that have designed it and worked on it, have put in thousands of hours to make it happen. Their
right,
intent is good. And I think
right,
this is just people that have found a loophole, so to
mm,
speak, to promote
mm,
themselves. and
right,
and I find it funny that some of them would be the first to call out um, things in the poker world
mm,
that they didn't see um, as a fair
right,
situation, so to speak, but yet are
yeah.
doing this. Like, it's just kind of a black eye from you know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't a good
Right.
look for
It's not a
us.
good look. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a difference between, is it like the People's Choice Awards or is it the Golden Globes? Or is it, the Golden Globes or the SAG Awards or whatever,
Right,
you win based on a committee, but the People's Choice Awards, you win by the people. So who does the GPI want to be? You want to be the body? Then be the body. And
right,
don't leave it up to voting and
right.
say, we're going to be the ones. And at the end of the day, there's always going to be people who don't agree. They're going to say that one shouldn't won, this one shouldn't have won, and
But
other
that's
people are going
okay
to say,
if
"Oh my
the
god, that's the best winner ever."
But that's okay if the
So,
process is
right.
transparent and fair, right?
Mhm.
Because then the people, whoever that is, if it's a panel or everybody, the people
Right.
have spoken, right? And so as
Yeah,
long as it's transparent and fair, there's, like you said, always a complainer out there,
yeah,
right? I mean,
for sure.
that's the
But I
that's
like
the
the
way it
fact of
goes.
people being able to campaign for their votes. Like, heck, you want to win, go for it.
Yeah, well,
You
like
should
I'm
be
not.
begging for votes. I love
Yeah,
that.
and why not release the first round? Like, okay, here's the top. Like, here's the 20 people that have made it. I mean, or why not release the list under each one so they can campaign? I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but it's got to be fixed because it's just not a good look. To me, it doesn't reek of fairness at all.
I'm
Um,
wondering how much sponsors are getting involved in that. Usually anything unfair comes down to money, right? So are some of these people, and again, please no, like I don't know anything that's going on. I
right,
don't even know,
right.
you said don't bring up names. I don't even know what names are out there, honestly. Um, but if people are sponsored, are those sponsors also sponsors in the poker world that have some clout? So maybe they, want their person in there. Like, it can be very messy of who's in bed with who.
Right,
Um,
right.
and that's a shame. And that, I think in the poker world, we have enough to deal with, and a lot of blemishes. And I think it's been great that the community has been speaking up more and calling out some bad behavior, some bad practices. But still, at the end of the day, we're not perfect. And I think a lot more needs to be done. I think there are just the bigger mouths at the top who are trying to say what the dialogue is instead of really listening to the rest of the community.
Well, and I agree with you, and I think the GPI award system is a great thing. I think it's awesome to recognize people in the world of poker for their accomplishments. Uh,
For sure. I
but
love that.
the transparency, it's got to be fair and transparent for optic looks for everybody. So I'm going to
Hmm.
welcome first of all, I'm going to welcome Asimov, Isaac, and then ASG to the panel. If either of you have any comments, please meet Lisa and go ahead.
Hi.
Hello, Lisa. I don't have any comments. Actually, I was just listening because it's me catching up to things. I always catch up to listening to Sherry, but pleasure to meet, and thanks
Well,
for inviting me up to the panel.
You bet, buddy. Anytime.
thanks for being here.
Appreciate you. Go ahead, ASG.
Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly what you were referring to, so I just wanted to clarify because, like, now the GPI, they tweeted recently that there's a fans' choice for those, 5 awards. Are you talking about those awards or
Okay.
different
I'm so
awards?
glad you asked me that question because many may not know that. Okay, so there are awards that everybody can vote on, and that is like I think there's 5 of them, like best trophy,
Correct.
best photo. Um,
It's best hand, best poker room, most original trophy design, best live stream, and most entertaining player.
there you go. And there's I don't know, did you say photo? I may have missed it, but anyway, photo is another one. Or no, it isn't.
Oh,
No, it
oh
isn't.
no, it
No, it
isn't.
isn't.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
that's given
okay,
by them.
all right. Now that those categories, the public are allowed to vote on. So right now on the GPI site, and I think I retweeted it as well the other day, on the GPI Twitter page, you can go there and click on the link and go vote for each of those categories. And those are things that are open to everyone to vote on. Now, there is a panel of voters that are voting on ballots. And those ballots are all the other categories that are going to be recognized, like your vlogger, your Twitter personality, your um, uh, short content, like video content, journalist of the year, long I think there's another one for like longer video content or something. So there's like another I want to say just guesstimating 10 more categories say. So those categories are only voted on by this panel of voters that are invited to be on the panel of voters. And they vote on those and multi ballot. So in multi, how do you say it? Multi, um, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm trying to write a note. So there is going to be one ballot they vote on, and then it narrows it down to X amount. And then if the voting closes, and then a new ballot comes out with the shorter list, and then that's closed, and then another ballot comes out with an even shorter list. So that panel of voters can vote for anyone but themselves. And so they know, and only they know, who's on those ballots.
How do they get on this panel?
They're
They work for
invited.
GPI?
They're invited. No, it's media people. It's a news media or poker news media. It's play. I think it's players. I think it's industry people.
Okay.
And I think they're invited.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, ASG, did that
Hmm.
answer your question? I'm sorry, I went all around the mulberry bush.
It did, except for the part. I mean, obviously you're purposely leaving them out, but I didn't see anybody campaigning, so I wasn't sure which side. I saw people campaigning for like best hand, but I didn't see. So I wasn't sure if you were talking about fan voting or if you were talking about the thing voting, because all I saw in my feeds were people campaigning for the fan awards.
Okay, I'm going to read one of them. I'm not going to read who wrote it, and I'm going to leave some things out purposely because it's not about the person that tweeted it, because they're in their right to beg for votes because they're not breaking any rules. But I just want to give you an example. And this is how the tweet read. In an utterly shameless attempt to curry favor as the GPI Global Poker Award ballots go out, we are bringing forward blah, blah, blah. And they talk about their next, like what they're doing next.
Is this like for best podcast or something?
I'm not even going to say the category,
Okay.
just because I don't want to.
No. I mean, like the way you're saying we're bringing forward. I'm just kind of anyway, I'm just, I don't know. The GPIs are kind of weird because, at least in terms of the awards themselves, when they're finally announced, they just feel like industry awards that the public doesn't even like watch or care about. Like, I don't know anybody who actually watches the GPI awards when they happen. You just find out the winners. Uh, but
Well, and I don't.
That kind of became the Academy Awards for me for a
I love
while,
it.
well, I
for a
mean,
few
like the
years.
players aren't
I
there.
used to watch. Now it's like, just let me know if anybody I like
Yeah.
won.
I'm just saying, like, none of the players show up, so it's really just the industry there. I mean, yeah.
Well, and it's so difficult, right? Because they don't know they won until last minute. And then they're expected to show up and, they're already in a tournament or, in Europe or, on a safari in Africa. You know what I mean? So it is difficult to get people there live when you're doing stuff, within days
Well,
or
let me
weeks.
just put this out there. If there's anyone that's going to win an award that can't be there, I love me an evening gown. So I will go in your stead and make an acceptance speech because, as we all know, I love to talk. I'll thank all your people. So just let me know where and when to
I'm
show
going
up.
to ditto that. We definitely have a comment, a couple of comments. D-Man retweeted our space to get other folks to come in. I appreciate that, D-Man.
Yay.
Part of the Green Visor Gang, which is a big supporter of my spaces, and I support them as well. And Blue, which is another crowd favorite, and I'm happy to call a friend. She says, I think Lisa and I played with each other over a decade ago. She was one of the few women I saw at parks.
Ah, hi. Probably. We're still not a lot of us at parks. I hope you're going to be back for parks. Do I know? Oh, it says Blue. Does that mean I know? I don't know. Maybe she doesn't want me to know her name. But I'm happy that there's more women. Parks has a great group of women. I actually have women that I have been friends with for over 20 years that I have met from Borgata and Parks, and we still are friends today.
Hi,
So,
hi,
hi.
I'm in the back of a car on my way to a poker game. No,
Woohoo!
I'm pretty
Yes.
sure it was you, and we were friends on Facebook for like a hot second. I was super short, black hair. You'd only see me at like the big stacks games. I think I played you at the Borgata once. I just remember you were like the first woman that I met on the East Coast that like played poker, and
Oh,
I'm
well,
being like very enamored by it.
I feel very bad that why are we not friends on Facebook anymore? Are we not friends on Facebook?
I don't
You
know. I
said
don't.
we were friends.
Yeah, it's because I don't really use. I mean, we might still be. I don't know. I don't use
I'm just
Facebook
kidding.
much anymore. That's
Are you
that's probably why. I don't know who I talk to on Facebook.
could be. Are
But
you
yeah,
still
I
here on the
wouldn't
East
expect you to
Coast?
remember me unless I annoyed you.
I'm sure you didn't. I'm just old and I forget a lot of things. But are you still on the East Coast? Are you still playing here?
No, I moved to Los Angeles and now I play out here.
Oh, are you okay? Where are you go? Like,
Yeah. No,
I'm
no,
so
no.
sorry, all that's going on in
I
LA.
know
I
that,
hope
Yeah,
you're safe.
right?
yeah. It's I'm good. I'm good. As I'm sure Isaac can attest to, it's getting much better. They seem to be getting stuff
Awesome.
under control, and I was never really in danger. So.
Very good. That's good to hear. And you're on your way to a game, so yay. I'm glad you're playing and hope you're crushing. I'm happy you're here today. Now I have to think about if you I don't know, is there a way to like
If you're
send who
still
you are
if
in here?
yeah, no, I'm not gonna say my name. But if
No,
you're
but I
still,
mean like
Yeah,
privately.
message her, Blue.
oh yeah, Sherry can tell you.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't even think you'd remember my name, to be very honest. Like I think we played together. I was definitely more star fucker. Like I would remember you than you would remember me. Because again, it was like the first. I had been playing in New York for so long and never played with any women. Started playing at parks, just because like you don't want to pay a $35 rake, and
Right.
I very much remember like seeing you all the time at parks, and I
Hmm.
would get into like I think I played like a mixed no limit hold'em PLO tournament with you, like that long ago.
Oh, that I don't know. That was me. I was not playing PLO back in the day.
They
Like,
literally did just like one hand every 10 hands. It was like the weirdest thing. Um,
oh,
but
amazing.
yeah, no, I remember getting into like hands with you. I believe you knocked me out once because I was an idiot with Queen Nine. Um,
You might
Well,
remember
I
her
hope
because
it was a good experience and we all were having fun.
she's
I
literally
hope it
like
was.
5 foot tall, Lisa.
I'm not 5 feet. I'm
I
short.
was giving you credit.
Oh my goodness.
Don't give me credit. The only
Uh,
identifiable thing about me is that I'm a midget.
well, I hope we had good experiences and now I'm going to have to really rack my brain because it is like I said, I forget a lot of things. I
Don't
really
sweat it.
truly do.
If for some reason we are on Facebook together, I'll DM you, and then
Yes, please
I'll
do.
send
Please do.
a picture of me and my partner used to play together. That will probably jog your mind because I was
That
with
would make me very happy.
okay.
I love that.
Oh, I
Thank
love
you.
that.
And I hope you crush it tonight wherever you're going.
Thank you, lucky lady.
Love you.
Bye.
Good luck, Blue. Good
Bye.
luck,
Bye.
girl.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
stopping in.
Yep.
Appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Blue. All right, moving along. I feel like we've kind of covered that GPI thing. If anybody else has any questions or comments, please come on up and let us know, because the only way we can solve a problem is first admit there is one, and then work together on some solutions. So um,
Heck
that's
yeah.
kind of where I'm at with that. All right, I want to know how it came about that you are cartwheeling through life, literally.
um, it's so random. We were at a tournament at Borgata, and what is now the sports book bar, and where the craps tables are was this huge open space. They had taken a bunch of slot machines out and they were redoing it, and it was this big open floor. And I was like, oh my gosh, I totally want to do a cartwheel. And my friend was like, well, you should. And I was like, I can do a cartwheel. And they're like, okay. And then we filmed it, and it was just, it became a thing that now, when I bag chips, I'm going to do cartwheels. And that summer during the World Series, Joey DeMush made a meme for me. And it was the greatest
Oh,
thing ever. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this thing. And it was me doing a cartwheel outside of the Venetian. And I would always end my cartwheel with like blowing a kiss. And it was just awesome. And it was chips in a bag. And so, yeah, then it became a thing, especially during COVID. It was like I was trying to get this podcast kind of interview show, Vibing with Lisa, off the ground. And I would find different spots to do cartwheels, and people would reach out to me, and they loved it, and they just loved the energy of it. And then people were sending me cartwheels, and that made me so happy. And I'm so pissed that I didn't know better and do better. I really believed in what I was doing with Vibin with Lisa. I felt like some of the interviews really touched a lot of people. I got some amazing feedback of things that touched people's lives and helped people. And that kind of energy that people would respond to. And I just didn't know how to build an audience. I didn't know how to do the social media marketing and to become, a Rampage, a Poker Face Ash. Like, I just didn't know enough. And I tried hiring people and lost a lot of money for it, and just didn't do it. And COVID really
I was going
knocked
to
me on my
say, I
ass.
kind
Yeah.
of, that's kind of when I started to get to know your social media, is because A, you used to do a lot of singing on camera, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And B,
Oh, thanks.
you're vibing with Lisa, and you had picked up a radio show or something in LA or something, and then COVID hit. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is like the biggest like sledgehammer onto your what you were doing. I remember feeling for you. I felt like, oh,
Hmm.
all of her hard
Thank
work, and now
you.
she's stuck in COVID and it's dying, like it's a dying
Thanks.
project. And I hated that for you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That really means a lot. Yeah, COVID. I had just moved to Vegas. I went through a really rough divorce, a very bad breakup. My mom passed away, and it was, I'm going to start over. I'm going to move to Vegas and travel with my friend full time, and we're going to do the European circuit and all of this stuff. And then we went on lockdown. And I'm an incredibly social person, anyone who knows me. And there I was out in Vegas by myself. My family was all back east, what little family I had. Um, I didn't have anyone, in my life. I don't have brothers and sisters. So it was brutal. I mean, I remember one day getting in my car and driving 7 hours to Reno just so I could hug my cousin.
Right. And I'm going to tell you, I didn't know that story, but there were things that you would post and I would be like, "Oh, she's lonely and she just needs like she needs like a sister, a cousin nearby, you know, um just some human touch." I mean, you could just feel it in
It was
some of your posts. And I can remember when you got your first Christmas tree you were decorating in your new home. I remember that video.
Oh my
I
gosh,
do.
thank
I remember
you.
that video, and I was so proud of you because
Oh
you
my
know what?
God.
You were so stepping out of your comfort zone, and you were being strong even though you were in a weakened state, right? You were being so strong and stepping out of that box, and you were pushing your own limits. And guess what? It wasn't easy, Lisa. And the camera didn't lie. The camera picked that up. And you should be so fucking proud of yourself, Lisa. Honest to God.
Thank
You
you.
really should be so proud of yourself. And I mean that from the
Thanks.
bottom of my heart. And
I really appreciate that.
absolutely.
It was definitely brutal, and I was very much um laying it out on the line whenever I was filming anything, or I didn't realize, like, I didn't call it creating content then. I didn't even know what the heck that meant. But any kind of time I was doing videos, I was being very real. I wasn't, putting up fluff. I was just really being me. I wanted people to know that divorce sucks, and breakups suck, and your mom passing away sucks, and you still have to get through the day, and sometimes you don't want to get through the day, and it's just really hard, and being an only child sucks. um so, and I was meeting people, but not making the connections of, you know, I grew up in Jersey. My friends have been friends since like 8th grade, 7th grade. So trying to find that when you move somewhere else in a town of people who always have walls up. Everybody thinks you're angling for something. Everybody thinks that you want to be friends with them for some underlying reason. And I'm just not like that. So that again was really, really tough. And then the people that I did know out there, um, a lot of them were very afraid during COVID. They weren't socializing. Um, so yeah, I
It was
mean,
difficult.
it was
It
definitely
was,
tough. It was
yeah,
definitely tough.
it was difficult. You're trying to make changes in your life and it comes to a screeching halt and you hit the brick wall of COVID.
Yeah,
And so your progress forward was at a standstill. So then guess what? What happens? We all go back to thinking about those things that we're trying to get ourselves out of that slump over, right? And
yeah.
I just applaud you and you should be very proud of yourself. And I'm going to move it on
Thank
along.
you.
Okay, sweetheart,
Thank
you
you.
bet.
I will just say something though about that first Christmas tree. When I've always had a real tree, and I usually get really tall ones and fat. I like the fatter the
Right.
better. And I went to this one place, and it was $600. I looked at the guy, I said, "What?" I said, "Are you smoking crack right now?" And he's like, "Well, c- COVID." And I said, it wasn't even a full tree, it was like skinny. And he said, "Well, COVID really took a toll." And I said, "Wait a second. These are not COVID trees." I said, these were planted how many years ago?" I said, "Are you kidding me right now?" I couldn't believe that he was trying to talk to me like I was an idiot. I said, "Listen, I'm a girl. I'm not a dumb
I
girl."
know that's
And I
right.
said, "This COVID has not a darn thing to do."
You
Yeah,
got
maybe
the
gas costs a
you're
little
coming
more,
at the wrong girl.
right? But oh my goodness. But yes, I was super happy dappy to have my tree.
Oh, it was awesome. I love
Yeah,
it. All right, we're
thank
going to
you.
welcome another East Coaster that you may or may not know, but he is definitely a Space's favorite, and I'm happy to call him friend as well. Barry, welcome.
What? Is that
Hey, thanks for
Barry
having me.
Leventhal?
No, no, I'm about 100 pounds lighter than him.
I thought you said East Coast, or do I know Barry? Can I see his picture?
Look,
Barry Levy. Oh, yes, I do. Hello, how are you?
I doing great interview. I didn't know this was going to be a tearjerker, Sherry. What are you trying to do to us here?
My
I'm
God,
keeping it
right? Thank
real.
you. I was not planning on crying.
Keeping it real, people. Keeping it
Mm,
real.
mm.
Yeah, great interview, great story. Nice to hear from you. It's always good
Thank
to hear from a
you.
fellow East Coaster. I scrolled back to your first victory, your first ring, I think, and I saw at the final table, eighth place was Elon Schwartz, another New Yorker, final
Yes,
table WSOP.
yes,
And
yep. And he
also knew the
wound up
guy in
like going to
10th
an
place.
island somewhere.
Say it again,
It's
Lisa.
possible.
I think Elon banked something big after that and like moved away to an island.
I see him every now and then at the World Series, so he's around.
Nice. Oh, that's good that he's doing well. And what did you say? Who else was there?
A guy from New York, also 10th place, Peter Chung. I know him
Okay.
since probably since then.
Oh, well, they were all saying what a dope ass I was because I was just, I didn't know anything. What's funny after that is I started like trying to study and I came, I was here for Borgata's first opening. Like that's how long ago this all was when we were playing downstairs. And I remember at one point my mom said, I think you were probably better before you started studying. And it's like, once you start trying to learn, you do screw up your game a little bit because now you're trying to make
100%. I
adjustments.
agree with that.
This happened. I was
100%.
a part of Jesse Silva's group at one point during COVID, and he even said to me, "He's like, Lise, I think I'm screwing up your game." And it's like you're second guessing yourself. You're starting to do something. Yeah, studying always you have to work through those adjustments because you're never going to be that person that you're studying. But it's like, what can you take away from that?
Well, and this is why I have like several poker books that I've been reading for like 3 years because I'll read a chapter and then I'm like, okay, process it. How am I going to fit this into my game? Am I going to try to, or does it even fit my game? Maybe not. Um, I firmly believe that. Yeah.
Barry, were you here? Are you here playing, or were you here playing Borgata?
Yeah, I came down the second and the third. I played the two mixed game events, the Omaha Hello and the Hose, but
Ooh,
no luck.
awesome. Oh, no luck. Damn it. Damn it, damn it. Yeah, I didn't have any luck at the Almighty I did have luck in the seniors. I did seniors and the Almighty and one other thing, I think. So, psyched that Parks is coming back.
I saw February.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Hope they just
Yeah,
keep
I might
those good
pop.
structures.
Yeah, I might pop in. I had final table probably 2013 at Parks.
Nice. Awesome. Very good. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Barry is part of the New York scene. He is the New York scene. Let's just put it that way.
Nice. Oh my goodness.
If
Wow.
the
Yeah, I
chicks
come out
could
of
talk.
that New York underground.
Oh my goodness. That's like that's some hardcore. You guys are from the stories I've heard. I've only played once and I've heard the rake this and blah blah blah. But I did hear New York City got approved for 3 licenses. Jersey's got to fight it. I mean, listen, I love New York, but if you guys get casinos and poker rooms, it's going to kill us.
Yeah,
What
it's
do you
kind of
think about that,
done
Fred?
already. Yeah, it's a done deal. They approved 3 licenses. They're going to
Yeah,
be giving them out in December of this year coming.
but it's a long time before building and all of that. Like it's going to be years. And if anybody puts it in Times Square, that's the dumbest thing, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think Times Square is the right spot
I think
for
that's a horrible spot.
terrible, absolutely terrible.
I don't think
And
the
somebody got to
story's
pay a
changed.
congestion fee.
Yeah, I don't think the story's changed the two favorites of the two racinos at Yonkers and Aqueduct because they
Okay.
already have casinos. And then there's one more, and that's up for grabs. Brooklyn Navy Yards, Times Square, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Nassau Coliseum, but where the Mets play.
Mm,
They're throwing out where they're going to give that third one. So we'll see.
mm. Well, I hope it's far enough away that it doesn't affect us because it'll affect Jersey and Pennsylvania. And that'll be really tough.
And New England.
Um, are they getting a ton of New Yorkers though?
Yeah, they must still. That's got to be a lot of their business.
Don't you think when they
Mm,
go out to the country?
I mean, I honestly I shouldn't speak on it because I don't know enough about their card rooms. Um, so Like I know Mohegan Sun, I know Foxwoods, and I haven't been there in forever. And then you've got Boston.
And they opened up, right, they opened up north of there in
Yeah.
Boston. So
You got
now
Maryland.
we'll hit them from the south. And
Yeah. But I don't think a lot of New Yorkers go there, though. Don't you think they come more Jersey and, although I don't know.
Well, isn't Connecticut closer to New York City than Atlantic City?
Yeah, but I don't think they're running as much. So, like, Mohegan used to be really good for poker tournaments back in the day. And I haven't heard anybody going to Mohegan they don't run a series anymore, from what I understand. Now, somebody just told me Harrah's is going to get a circuit event again.
Oh my God, I hope so. I love that Harris.
Holy bejesus. If
I'm going to
we
tell you
get
that's
that
my
back in this
favorite
town,
here.
I'll be so excited.
That's my favorite Caesar's property. People think I'm crazy. I love that Harris. I do.
I haven't been to Harrah's in a million years, but Atlantic City needs another circuit. Like, we've got to get that back. So that would be very cool if that actually happens.
I've heard that too this week. So it's funny you brought it up.
Woohoo! Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Okay, Lisa, I like to do a thing called rapid fire. Are you familiar with the concept?
Uh-oh. I am not.
Okay, I'm going to give you two choices. You have to make you need to choose one of them, or you could just say pass.
Okay.
We'll let you off the hook. Don't be afraid to say pass. But I
Okay.
promise you, there's probably nothing you'll pass on. Live or online?
Live.
Beer or wine?
Ugh, neither. Oh,
Oh,
wine, I guess.
that's interesting. Gummy bears or Sour Patch Kids?
Chocolate. Gummy bears.
Atlantic City or Vegas?
Oh, that's mean. Vegas.
Steaks or burgers?
Steaks.
Cook,
Ribeye, anyone wants to know.
cook or do the dishes?
Uh, do the dishes.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Do you kill the bugs or do you take them outside?
Scream. Um, I've done both. Probably killed them more though. Is that terrible? People are gonna hate me.
I never take them outside, so don't feel bad. It's natural way of life. Sorry. Cannonball into a pool or toe in first?
Cannonball.
Texting or phone call?
Ooh, phone call.
Comedy or action movie?
Comedy.
Thank you for playing.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Now, is there any hand or mistake you've made on the felt that still haunts you till today?
What? I'm a poker player. We don't make mistakes. We're brilliant.
Of course, we're perfect and
Um,
foolproof.
I want to say, honestly, it's now. Nothing haunts me. Nothing like no. Um, well, I shouldn't say that. But I didn't do it like a hand that I made a mistake on or just a hand that haunts me.
I would say, just there are people that'll say, well, if that hand would have just went in my favor, I didn't make any
Oh,
mistakes, but then I
um,
would have rode it to the final four. You know what I mean? So,
oh, 1,000,000%. I shoved jacks under
oh
the
no.
gun and ace king calls at day 5 of the main event. We just made the next
Oh,
pay jump and yeah, sucked.
I hate
And
jacks.
yep. See, and I'm the only poker player that loves them.
Yeah.
I
See
love them.
where it
But the
got you?
kid next to me
See where it
says,
got you is all I'm going to say.
well, when I'm shoving, I don't really have a choice, but I
I
like to
agree.
play
I'm
them
just
because you
poking.
either make a bunch of money or you can fold them.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
but
folding, but go
the
ahead.
kid next to me said, "Oh, I folded a king," and I looked at him. I said, "Are you kidding me right now? Like you never say that." And king right in the window.
Oh,
But yeah, that was my main event life, and I thought, "Oh my God!" I literally thought all the stars were aligning.
oh, stupid
Yeah,
jacks.
yep, yep.
Okay, so okay, so you brought up the main event. How many times
Mhm.
have you played in the main event?
I have played 3 times, and I have cashed twice.
Good
And
for you.
please, WSOP, bring back the single table sit and goes where we could win Lammers.
That's not happening. Hate to break it to you.
It's so stupid.
We've had so many conversations in these spaces about that, and it's just not going to happen.
I want to be in those conversations. Why?
Because a lot of it has to do with collusion.
Well, so be better about colluding.
I don't disagree,
I
but
played them all the time, and I knew who played together, and I wouldn't sit with them, and I would call them out. Like,
I
just
don't
be better players to
I
pay
don't
attention,
dis
being better to pay attention,
I
not.
don't disagree, but the powers that be, and it also has tax implications. It had to do with people being able to win X amount of dollars and not, pay taxes on it. So there was also some implication about taxes with those sit and goes. So just so you know, they have some pretty valid reasons for sure. We may not agree with all of them, but they were pretty
Then they've
valid.
got to come up with a better way. Then they have to come up with an alternative for people to win their seats,
I agree.
because everybody just doesn't have 10K,
I
and
totally agree.
everybody can't play online yet, which is ridiculous.
I agree. And
Vote
let's
for
make
that.
sure that it's not the golden passport thing. Let's make sure we find a way to get seats to people that everyone could do, right? Like,
Yeah,
and even
everybody
if
could
it's
have a
just,
shot.
having a satellite, MTT satellite
Mhm.
for the main events at,
Um,
or step ladder
yeah,
events to the main event.
something,
Um,
something.
yeah, I agree totally, for sure.
Or let them be random sit and goes. Then,
Right,
if you're worried about collusion,
right,
let them be random sit and goes.
right. A
But
hundred, yeah,
like, we have to have alternatives.
I totally agree.
It's just not right. You're shutting people out.
You're limiting the crowd
Yep.
to those that
To the
only have the
greatest show
money.
on earth.
Well, and you're limiting it to those that have the money.
Right.
And just like I'm not paying to have 35 buy-ins to a tournament. I can't afford a 10K tournament. And now what are you
Right.
going to do for me if you want me at that table? Am I
Right. Where
important
is
enough
that
to you?
35 buy-in guy? I want to be his friend.
I'll send you his name. But anyway, anybody have any questions or comments for Lisa? Please hit that microphone request button in the bottom left corner. I'm going to give it a few minutes so I can go ahead and let her enjoy her Friday night. Until then, I'm going to
Ask
go.
me anything. I'm an open book.
All right, I'm
Don't
going to
make me
go
cry
around.
anymore, though.
Okay, I promise I'll try not to. I'm going to go around the horn to those that have microphones right now to see if they have any last questions or comments for Lisa. ASG, I'll start with you.
Uh, no comments for Elisa, but I don't know who chose the nominees for best hand, but I agree with Texas Mike that his 10 deuce bluff should have been nominated, and that's the one I would have voted for.
Oh, nice.
I like it.
I like it.
I might have to look that up.
I like it. It was a good hand. I thought it was on there. I thought I actually voted for that one.
No, they had his flip with Keating, and
Oh, that's what it was. I voted for that one. That's what it was. Okay. Got it. Thank you. Appreciate you, ASG, as always. Barry, any
Thank.
last question? Oh, go ahead, Lisa.
No, I was saying thank you.
Barry, any last questions or comments? He may.
No, I got nothing. Great space. Good job.
Thank you.
And thanks for having me.
Appreciate you,
Thank
Barry.
you.
Appreciate you always. Isaac, how about you, buddy? Last questions or comments?
No questions. Great space. Awesome stories. Um, it's funny. Y'all kind of remind me of each other, Sherry. Lisa reminds me of you in a way, which is really dope. That's a very high compliment. But no, it was great to hear everything. And thanks for the info. I was not caught up on some things, so thank you, Sherry, as always. And yeah, cheers to y'all.
Appreciate you.
Thanks. Thank
Appreciate you.
you.
And I can't think of a better compliment than I and Lisa are very much alike. I love that.
I appreciate that as well. I love Sherry's energy. I'm very, very happy that to be assimilated with her.
Likewise, I'm going to read a quote from MLK since we celebrate his birthday this weekend, before we wrap up and have some last words from Lisa and myself. And these are MLK's words: injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Dr. Martin Luther King. I appreciate his words. Lisa, you have any last thoughts, comments, questions, anything you'd like to bring up, love?
No, just that I am very grateful to have been asked to be here. I feel like, there's part of the community and then there's part of the community. And I sometimes feel like, oh, shoot, I don't know what's going on. And maybe I've kind of lost my way. And I love being brought into a space with like minded people who just love this game. And I'm glad that you put this all together, Sherry. So thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate your kind words, and I'm here every Friday, so you always are welcome
Thank
to
you.
join us anytime, any place. Also, I do those daily shows during the WSOP and WPT. Stop by anytime. We'd love to hear from you. Uh,
Love that.
keep taking care of Lisa, though, for me, would you?
Thank you.
I appreciate you and your time, and I hope I get to see you soon so I can hug your neck.
I would love to hug you. Thank you. I hope I see you soon as well. Thank you everybody for showing up. And any more questions, just please let me know. Anybody can reach out to me through social media and ask me anything. So
Love
thank
that.
you.
Thank you. And to our listeners, thank you for listening live. I always appreciate all of you. And those that will listen on replay, I appreciate you as well. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Stay safe. Remember, no drinking and driving. Call an Uber. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.